Hello, LES. Today is day 1 of Plants vs. Zombies. First up, we have Cordyceps, which is also known as the zombie fungus. There are some crazy facts there listed for you regarding Cordyceps. And I, Mrs. Bailey, will actually be bringing you the video about Cordyceps, so here we go. Hello, Lorraine Bullpups. This is Mrs. Bailey. I am bringing you zombie fungus for day 1 of our Real Plants vs. Zombies escapades for the week. So, just so you know, some of this gets a little gross and maybe a little scary, so if you don't like listening to that, maybe this isn't for you, but if you're interested in learning more about real plants and critters that do weird and wild things in this weird and crazy world, this is right up your alley. So, today, I'm going to be talking to you about Cordyceps. Sounds fancy, right? Cordyceps is actually the fancy word for zombie fungus. That's right, zombie fungus. Now, when you think of fungus, don't you think of what? Mushrooms, right? Mushrooms? Living on the forest floor, maybe out in your yard, maybe you've seen a few mushrooms growing on a tree. Yeah, this is basically what this is. This fungus, but it takes over insects' bodies like a zombie. Is that crazy or what? Now, you don't have to be too worried about Cordyceps because, 1, grows in a jungle, tropical forests. We're not a tropical forest here in Virginia. Number 2, you don't have to be worried about it because you're not an insect. So nothing to really be scared of in your point of view, but if you're an ant, you're going to be scared of Cordyceps or zombie fungus. So I'm going to talk to you today about what it does and why it should win the first Plants vs. Zombies against Venus flytrap. So, here's what happens. The fungus shoots out spores, okay? So kind of think of a mushroom shooting out spores, although this thing can grow in all different kinds of ways. It can look like a little mushroom, it can look like a little shoot, like a little branch, and it can also look like crystals. So there's lots of different formations for zombie fungus, but basically, here come spores, right? One lands on an ant walking by, okay? The spore goes inside of the ant's body and actually starts taking over its brain, just like zombies, right? And as it takes over its brain, the ant starts to do something funny. Not at first, because this zombie fungus is really, really smart. At first, it lets it act like a normal ant, because then the other ants don't get suspicious, okay? But then after a while, this ant starts trotting down from the nest, because in the tropical rainforest, a lot of ants live up in the trees or up in the brush, and they don't live on the forest floor. They live up high. So the ant starts to actually descend down to the forest floor, where it finds a nice, kind of covered, moist, humid area where Cordyceps likes to grow, and it actually takes a bite, the ant does, of a leaf. It takes the bite of a leaf. And that will actually provide Cordyceps with some nutrients and some water. And what ends up happening is Cordyceps takes over the ant's body, and the ant actually dies there after it bites the leaf. And it actually uses the ant's body to grow new Cordyceps or new fungus. And like I said, that can look like a little mushroom shoot coming out, or it could also look like crystals. So then more Cordyceps grow, and that's its whole purpose in life, is to basically spread out across the forest floor. So it does that by taking over an ant's mind, and then forcing the ant to leave its nest and find a nice shaded spot, and then it takes over the ant completely and uses the ants for nutrients. Nutrients is a fancy way of saying food, right? So, yeah, that's essentially why zombie fungus is so scary to ants. But it also doesn't kill the entire ant colony. It could wipe out the entire ant colony if it wanted to, but it won't. Why do you think that might be? Why do you think it wouldn't wipe out the entire ant colony? Well, think about it. If it wipes out the entire ant colony, there's no more ants to take over, right? So it's got to leave some, you know what I mean? Otherwise, it's going to die off as well, because then there's no other ants to take over. It also doesn't just target ants, although that's usually its normal victim, but Cordyceps can also go after things like wasps, moths, and spiders. So yeah, that is Cordyceps zombie fungus. At the end of the presentation, you will be able to vote for either one or the other by clicking on the Google form. So today, zombie fungus is up against Venus flytrap, and Mrs. Dingus is going to bring you the information on that. So stay tuned. Next up is Venus flytrap. Miss Dingus is going to talk to you about that. The Venus flytrap, the leaves are lined with teeth-like bristles. It lures its victims with a sweet-smelling nectar and even emits or shoots out a blue glow to attract bugs. So let's learn about more.
Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Dingus, and this is my daughter Avery. So today Avery and I are going to talk to you guys about Venus's flytraps. They are awesome plants. They trap insects. Yes, Avery?
Can I go talk?
Okay, Avery would like to talk about them for a second.
So, spikies are really spiky, and you can't touch any spikies on the edge. Because spikies are really pointy, and you can't touch them. Oh, a pencil are spiky.
Yeah, she's right. So these are a small plant that grow from a bulb-like root, and it reaches heights between 8 inches and 12 inches. And they have really pretty white flowers on them, don't they, Avery?
Yeah.
The leaves on the Venus's flytraps resemble jaws.
Okay.
And go ahead.
So, spikies are really pointy. So, pink flowers grow when they're landing.
Right, so each half of the leaves have long spikes, like Avery was saying, and they have 3 hairs on top that are sensitive to touch. So the leaf oozes a sticky substance that attracts flies and other insects.
Oh, a blast these!
Yeah, and when an insect crawls in between the 2 halves of a leaf, the hairs detect its presence, and in less than a second, the leaf snaps shut and the long spikes lock together, trapping that insect. So once the insect is trapped, the leaf releases enzymes or digestive juice, and these juices break down the insects into nutrients. And then the leaf absorbs the nutrients and transports them to parts of the plant. Isn't that cool? This process takes about 10 days, and then the leaf reopens. How cool is that? And this is actually what it looks like. Can you see those jaw-looking leaves? That is where the insect goes into and gets trapped. Okay. Can you tell them, Avery, that they grow in North and South Carolina? Can you tell them?
Yeah. So Carolina is like China. So then really makes sense, but then really don't make sense. So then when spikes grow out from plants, you can't touch them when plants are spiky, or blue, or pink, or purple.
All right. Thank you, Avery, for that. So yeah, they grow best in North and South Carolina in the wild because they have the damp soil that they need to grow. So I hope that you guys enjoy learning about Venus's flytraps. We had a blast, and we hope you have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so now that you've heard about zombie fungus and Venus flytraps, I want you to take a moment and go ahead and vote for the one that you think is the creepiest or the most disgusting or the most gruesome. So all you need to do is to click on the link that is provided, and then you'll be able to access that in order to vote. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.